The Castor tumulus, more widely known as the tomb of Amphipolis, stands as a testament to ancient ambition and artistry. Unearthed in 2012 in the region of central Macedonia, Greece, this remarkable structure quickly gained global attention. Its sheer scale is breathtaking. It is recognized as the largest and most imposing funerary monument ever discovered from the ancient Greek world. The initial discovery sent ripples through the archaeological community, promising insights into a pivotal period of Hellenistic history. The meticulous excavation process began to slowly peel back layers of earth and time, hinting at the grandeur concealed within its protective mound. The world watched, eager to learn whose story this monumental grave would tell. Further investigations and historical analysis eventually provided a compelling answer to the tomb's origins. By 2015, a consensus emerged among scholars. The great Macedonian king, Alexander the Great, had commissioned this extraordinary edifice. It was not intended for himself, but for his closest companion, his dearest friend, and his most trusted general, Hephaestion. Hephaestion's death in 324 BC deeply affected Alexander, who sought to honor his memory in a manner befitting a hero, perhaps even a demigod. The decision to construct such a colossal tomb underscores the profound bond shared between these two figures, a relationship that has fascinated historians for centuries. The Castor tumulus is not merely a large grave, it is an architectural marvel. The entire complex was originally crowned by a magnificent sculpture, the Lion of Amphipolis. This colossal stone lion, itself a masterpiece of ancient sculpture, would have stood proudly atop the earthen mound, a guardian and a symbol of power and remembrance. The perimeter of the tomb is encircled by an impressive marble wall, nearly 500 meters in circumference, crafted with precision and adorned with decorative elements. The sheer resources and skilled labor required for such an undertaking speak volumes about the importance of the individual interred within and the determination of its commissioner to create an everlasting memorial. The tomb's location in Amphipolis is also significant. Amphipolis was a major city in the Macedonian kingdom, strategically important and rich in resources. By choosing this location, Alexander ensured that Hephaestion's memorial would be prominent and enduring, a constant reminder of his legacy. The discovery of the tomb has provided an invaluable window into the funerary practices, architectural capabilities, and artistic expressions of the late classical and early Hellenistic periods. It continues to be a subject of intensive study, with each new finding adding another piece to the puzzle of its fascinating history and the remarkable individuals connected to it. One of the most astonishing discoveries regarding the tomb of Amphipolis is its precise astronomical alignment. Researchers have determined that the monument was intentionally designed to interact with the sun, particularly during the winter solstice. This celestial event, occurring around December 21st each year, marks the shortest day and the longest night, a pivotal moment in the annual solar cycle. The revelation that such a significant structure was oriented with this specific astronomical event adds a profound layer of meaning to its design and purpose. It suggests a deep understanding of celestial mechanics by its ancient architects and a desire to connect the deceased with the cosmos. This alignment is not a mere coincidence. The complexity of the tomb's construction points towards deliberate planning. The winter solstice was a period imbued with significant symbolism in many ancient cultures, including the Greeks. It represented a turning point, the moment when daylight begins to lengthen again, heralding the eventual return of spring and renewed life. For a funerary monument, such an alignment could carry powerful connotations of rebirth, resurrection, or the eternal nature of the spirit. The architects of the Castor tumulus appear to have harnessed this potent symbolism, integrating it directly into the very fabric of Hephaestion's final resting place. The idea that Alexander the Great, known for his grand vision and his deep interest in various cultures and philosophies, would commission a tomb with such sophisticated features is entirely plausible. Hephaestion was not just a friend. He was treated with honors akin to those reserved for heroes and divine figures after his death. Therefore, linking his memorial to the powerful, life-affirming cycle of the sun, especially at the moment of its symbolic rebirth during the winter solstice, would have been a fitting tribute. This celestial connection elevates the tomb beyond a mere burial site, transforming it into a dynamic monument interacting with the fundamental rhythms of nature. The discovery of this solar alignment has opened new avenues of research into Hellenistic architectural practices and their understanding of astronomy. It prompts a re-evaluation of other ancient structures and their potential connections to celestial events. The tomb of Amphipolis, in this regard, serves as a key example of how ancient builders could weave intricate astronomical knowledge into their most sacred constructions. The winter solstice alignment is a silent yet eloquent testament to their sophisticated worldview and their desire to create monuments that resonated with the very order of the universe, ensuring a form of immortality for the honored dead. The genius of the Amphipolis tomb's design becomes particularly evident when observing the behavior of sunlight during the winter solstice. On this specific day, as the sun hangs low in the sky, its rays penetrate deep into the monument. The light travels through the entrance and along the main axis of the tomb, eventually reaching the innermost funerary chamber. This chamber is believed to have housed the sarcophagus of Hephaestion. The precise targeting of this sacred space by the solstice sun is a remarkable feat of ancient engineering and astronomical calculation, indicating an intent to bathe the deceased in light at this crucial time of year. Imagine the scene. As the daylight hours dwindle outside, a beam of sunlight pierces the darkness of the tomb, slowly moving across the floor and walls of the inner sanctum. This beam would have directly illuminated the very spot where Hephaestion's remains were laid to rest. This act of illumination can be interpreted in several ways. It could symbolize a divine connection, a blessing from the sun god, or a pathway for the soul. The light itself, in this context, becomes a sacred element, transforming the chamber into a space where the earthly and the celestial met, if only for a fleeting moment each year. The architects would have needed meticulous planning to achieve such an effect. The orientation of the tomb, the angle of its entrance passage, and the dimensions of its internal chambers all had to be calculated with extraordinary precision. This suggests not only a sophisticated understanding of solar movements, but also a deep-seated belief in the importance of such an alignment. The winter solstice light was not just an incidental occurrence, it was an integral part of the tomb's ritualistic and symbolic function. It served as an annual reaffirmation of remembrance and perhaps a promise of continuity beyond death. This direct illumination of the sarcophagus area by the winter solstice sun is a powerful statement. It transforms the tomb from a static repository of the dead into a dynamic structure that actively participates in the cosmic cycle. For Alexander the Great, ensuring such a celestial tribute for Hephaestion would have been a way to perpetuate his memory in a truly monumental and enduring fashion. The light served as a recurring reminder of Hephaestion's significance, a beacon shining upon his legacy year after year, defying the passage of time and the finality of death itself. The interplay of light and shadow within the tomb of Amphipolis during the winter solstice extends beyond the mere illumination of the inner chamber, adding further layers of symbolic meaning. One particularly striking feature involves the magnificent caryatids, the sculpted female figures that serve as pillars in one of the antechambers. These statues, with their intricately carved robes and serene expressions, are not passive observers of the solar event. Instead, they actively participate in a celestial drama orchestrated by the tomb's designers. The precise positioning of these figures relative to the incoming sunlight creates a stunning visual effect. As the winter solstice sun casts its rays into the tomb, shadows are formed by various architectural elements. Researchers have noted that at a specific moment the shadows cast by the sunlight align perfectly with the outstretched hands of the caryatids. This alignment creates the illusion that the figures are being symbolically crowned by the light, or perhaps that they are themselves bestowing a blessing or honor upon the deceased whose chamber lies beyond. This carefully choreographed interplay suggests a deeply considered symbolic program where every detail was intended to contribute to the overall message of the monument. This crowning effect can be interpreted as a powerful symbol of apotheosis or heroization. In ancient Greek culture, crowns were associated with victory, divinity, and eternal honor. By having the caryatids, who may represent priestesses or protective figures, seemingly crowned by the sacred light of the solstice, the tomb reinforces the elevated status of Hephaestion. It suggests his passage into a realm of heroes or demigods, a common aspiration for figures of great renown in the Hellenistic world. The ephemeral nature of the shadow play, occurring only at this specific time, would have made the event even more profound for those who might have witnessed it. The symbolism of the caryatid solstice crowning speaks to the incredible attention to detail in the tomb's design. It demonstrates that the architects were not only concerned with the path of light, but also with the meaningful patterns created by the shadows. This sophisticated understanding of optics and symbolism elevates the Castor tumulus beyond a mere burial structure, transforming it into a complex piece of ritual architecture. The interplay of light and shadow thus becomes a silent narrative, recounting themes of honor, remembrance, and the eternal connection between the human and the divine, all cued by the sun's journey. Section 5. A celestial calendar, the tomb's year-round solar journey. The tomb of Amphipolis' engagement with the sun is not limited to the dramatic events of the winter solstice. Further research has revealed that the monument interacts with sunlight in complex and meaningful ways throughout the entire year. This suggests that the tomb was designed as a kind of solar calendar, marking different phases of the year through the precise illumination of its various sections. This intricate design implies a continuous dialogue between the monument and the celestial sphere, far beyond a single annual event, embedding Hephaestion's memory within the very fabric of time's passage. During the summer and autumn months, for instance, sunlight progressively illuminates the outer chambers of the tomb. Specific architectural features, important mosaics, and even staircases are highlighted by the sun's rays on particular dates. One of the most significant mosaics, depicting the abduction of Persephone by Hades, a myth deeply connected with cycles of life, death, and rebirth, is among the elements that receive this focused illumination. This careful choreography of light suggests that different parts of the tomb were activated or brought into focus at different times, perhaps corresponding to specific commemorative dates or festivals related to Hephaestion or the deities invoked. As the year progresses towards winter, the sunlight penetrates deeper and deeper into the tomb, culminating in its arrival at the innermost funerary chamber during the winter solstice, as previously discussed. Then, remarkably, as spring approaches, this solar progression reverses. The light begins to retreat from the inner sanctum, gradually moving back towards the outer sections of the tomb. This cyclical movement of light, advancing and then receding, mirrors the natural cycles of the seasons of growth and decay, and most powerfully, the concept of rebirth or renewal. It creates a dynamic narrative played out in light within the tomb's sacred spaces. This year-round solar interaction transforms the Castor tumulus into an even more extraordinary monument. It wasn't just aligned to one celestial moment, but rather tuned to the entire solar year. This continuous interplay of light would have served as a constant, evolving memorial, perhaps meant to guide Hephaestion's spirit through the afterlife, or to reassure the living of the enduring nature of his memory and the cyclical promise of renewal. The tomb therefore acts as a silent, stone and light chronicle of time itself, a sophisticated astronomical instrument as much as a funerary edifice. Section 6. Digital corroboration. The Savides study confirms ancient intent. The remarkable solar alignments within the tomb of Amphipolis, while observed and hypothesized, received significant scientific validation through modern computational analysis. A pivotal study published in 2025 in the prestigious by researcher Demetrios Savides provided compelling evidence of the intentionality behind these celestial interactions, titled Illuminating the Castus Monument Enigma. A computational analysis of solar architectural interaction. This research employed cutting-edge technology to explore the ancient design, offering a new level of certainty regarding the tomb's sophisticated astronomical planning. This study marked a significant step in understanding the depth of Hellenistic architectural and astronomical knowledge. Savides utilized highly detailed three-dimensional digital models of the Castor tumulus. These models accurately replicated the tomb's architecture, its orientation, and its geographical location. By simulating the sun's path throughout the year, relative to this digital replica, the study could precisely track how sunlight would have entered and interacted with the monument's various chambers and features. This computational approach allowed for a rigorous testing of the solar alignment theories, moving beyond visual observation to quantifiable data. The results confirmed that the specific sunlight interactions, particularly during the winter solstice, were not accidental but a product of deliberate design. The study demonstrated that the tomb was meticulously engineered to ensure that sunlight would reach the inner funerary chamber, illuminating the presumed location of Hephaestion's sarcophagus, specifically on the winter solstice. Furthermore, the computational analysis supported the observations about the symbolic crowning of the caryatids by shadows and light. Savides's work provided a robust framework for understanding the complex interplay between the sun and the tomb's architecture, showing how various elements were designed to come alive with light and shadow at specific times of the year, reinforcing the symbolic narratives embedded within the monument. The publication of this research in early 2025 provided a strong affirmation for the archaeologists and historians who suspected the profound astronomical significance of the Amphipolis tomb. It showcased how modern technology can unlock the secrets of ancient constructions, offering insights that might otherwise remain speculative. The Savides study, with its precise modeling and analysis, has firmly established the tomb of Amphipolis as a masterpiece not only of funerary art and architecture, but also of ancient applied astronomy, a testament to a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos by its creators. Section 7. Sun worship in ancient Hellas, solstices, myths and festivals. The deliberate alignment of the tomb of Amphipolis with the winter solstice is deeply rooted in the cultural and mythological landscape of ancient Greece. Solstices and equinoxes were not merely astronomical occurrences for the Greeks, they were pivotal moments in their calendar, their agricultural practices, and their religious observances. These celestial events marked transitions in the natural world and were often associated with the activities of gods and goddesses, as well as fundamental concepts of life, death, and rebirth. The sun itself, Helios, was a powerful deity, and its journey across the sky was a source of constant wonder and symbolic interpretation. The winter solstice, in particular, held significant meaning. It was a time when the sun appeared to be at its weakest, yet it also marked the turning point towards longer days and the eventual return of warmth and abundance. This resonated with themes of renewal and hope. Ancient Greek festivals such as the were celebrated around this time. There was a festival associated with Demeter and Dionysus, focusing on the fertility of the threshed grain and the pruning of vines, essentially celebrating the fruits of the harvest and the anticipation of the next agricultural cycle. The honoring Poseidon also occurred in winter, linking the god of the sea and earthquakes to this transitional period. The myth of Persephone, queen of the underworld, is particularly relevant. Her annual descent into the underworld with Hades and her subsequent return to the world of the living mirrored the cycles of vegetation and the changing seasons. The autumn equinox, for example, was symbolically linked to Persephone's return to Hades, marking the decline of nature. Conversely, her re-emergence in spring heralded new growth. The tomb's mosaic depicting the abduction of Persephone and its programmed illumination directly ties the monument to these powerful chthonic and agricultural myths, reinforcing themes of cyclical existence and the journey of the soul. Therefore, aligning Hephaestion's tomb with the winter solstice was a way to connect his memory and his spirit with these deeply ingrained cultural and mythological narratives. It placed his passing and remembrance within the grand eternal rhythm of the cosmos and the divine order. The light of the solstice sun entering his tomb could be seen as a divine assurance of continuity, a link to the life-giving powers of the sun, and a participation in the timeless stories that gave meaning to life and death in the ancient Greek world. This practice highlights a worldview where the celestial, the mythological, and the human were inextricably intertwined. Section 8. Divine iconography, gods, cycles, and a missing presence. The tomb of Amphipolis is rich in decorative elements that further underscore its connection to cultic practices and mythological themes, particularly those related to cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Among these are intricately carved rosettes and depictions of a ceremonial bull. Rosettes are common motifs in ancient art, often symbolizing regeneration, eternity, or the stars, and their presence in a funerary context reinforces the hope for an afterlife or enduring fame. The bull, a powerful symbol in many Mediterranean cultures, was frequently associated with chthonic deities, fertility, and sacrifice, potentially linking the tomb's rituals to gods like Dionysus or even the great mother goddess Cybele. The worship of deities such as Cybele and Persephone, both of whom are strongly associated with fertility, the earth, death, and eventual rebirth, seems to be subtly referenced within the tomb's iconography. Cybele, often depicted with lions, recalling the lion of Amphipolis that once crowned the tumulus, was a mother goddess whose cult involved themes of mourning and rejoicing, mirroring the death and regeneration of nature. Persephone's presence is explicit through the magnificent mosaic, a central piece of the tomb's narrative. These connections suggest that the funerary rites for Hephaestion may have incorporated elements from mystery cults that offered solace and promises of a continued existence beyond the grave. Adding another layer to the tomb's enigma, researcher Demetrius Savides, whose computational study confirmed the solar alignments, has hypothesized the former existence of a now-lost statue. This theory is based on an observed empty space within the Persephone mosaic and the specific design and orientation of the caryatid figures. Savides suggests that a statue, perhaps of Hephaestion himself or a deity, might have once occupied this space, strategically placed to interact with the sunlight at specific times, further enhancing the tomb's symbolic program. Such a statue would have been another focal point for the interplay of light and shadow, adding to the monument's theatrical and ritualistic power. If such a statue existed, its interaction with the precisely directed sunlight could have created a powerful epiphany or a moment of divine manifestation within the tomb's sacred precinct. The carefully designed gaze and gestures of the caryatids might have been directed towards this central figure, further emphasizing its importance. While the statue itself remains speculative without direct physical evidence, the possibility highlights the meticulous planning and the desire to create a truly immersive and spiritually resonant experience for those who participated in the commemorative rituals, or for the journey of the deceased's soul. The tomb was clearly designed as a stage for profound symbolic acts. Section 9. Legacy in Light Amphipolis and Ancient Architectural Mastery. The discoveries at the tomb of Amphipolis, particularly the confirmation of its intricate solar alignments, have profoundly impacted our understanding of ancient Greek culture, their architectural practices, and their sophisticated astronomical knowledge. This monument, commissioned by Alexander the Great for Hephaestion, is far more than a lavish burial. It is a testament to a worldview where the cosmos played an active role in honoring the dead and perpetuating their memory. It demonstrates that Hellenistic architects possessed not only exceptional artistic and engineering skills, but also a deep understanding of celestial mechanics, which they skillfully wove into their most sacred constructions. The tomb of Amphipolis challenges any preconceived notions of ancient limitations, showcasing a culture that could precisely orient massive structures to capture specific solar events throughout the year. This level of planning speaks to a long tradition of astronomical observation and its application in architecture, likely extending beyond funerary monuments to temples and other significant public buildings. The ability to manipulate light and shadow to create symbolic effects, like the crowning of the caryatids or the focused illumination of the sarcophagus chamber, reveals a sophisticated grasp of how to imbue architecture with dynamic ritualistic meaning. This understanding compels a re-evaluation of other ancient sites, encouraging researchers to look for similar astronomical alignments and solar interactions that may have previously been overlooked. The Castor tumulus serves as a powerful example of how funerary rites in ancient Greece could be deeply intertwined with the natural cycles of the sun, symbolizing concepts of rebirth, eternity, and the heroization of the deceased. It underscores the importance of celestial events in their cosmology and religious beliefs, offering a tangible link to the spiritual lives of people from over 2 millennia ago. The tomb is, in essence, a bridge connecting earthly endeavors with celestial rhythms. In conclusion, the tomb of Amphipolis stands as a beacon of ancient ingenuity and profound symbolic thought. Its alignment with the winter solstice and its complex year-round solar interactions reveal a culture that sought to harmonize its greatest monuments with the universe itself. The legacy of Hephaestion, as envisioned by Alexander the Great, was thus not only carved in stone and marble but also written in light, an eternal tribute played out by the sun year after year. This magnificent structure continues to yield its secrets, reminding us of the enduring power of human creativity and the timeless quest to find meaning in our connection to the cosmos.